What's good, everybody? Skywalking with Wetz podcast. We're here. We're gonna break down some of the NBA free agency this summer, some of the free agent signings, some of the trades, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of tune into the Suns and what that's looking like right now. There's been a lot going on. Sham said at the beginning of the summer that, before the summer, in the spring, he said this could be an action-packed summer for free agency, signings, trades, things like that. But a lot's happened. But before we get there, thank you for tuning into the podcast. Appreciate you here. If you're this far in the video, if you're on Facebook, like the vid, share the vid, get the word out there. If you're seeing this on YouTube, all right, please like and subscribe to the channel. Comment, all right? I'm seeing like 75% of the people that watch these vids on both platforms, they don't like the video or they don't subscribe to the channel. So we kind of got to get that one figured out. But I hope that can change here shortly. But YouTube, Facebook, they're like, hey, drop $20 in here to boost this post. Man, I don't really want to do that. Hopefully this gets out by the word of mouth. So we'll see. But without further ado, let's kind of break down what's going on in free agency so far. And I guess not even just free agency, trades, things like that. Obviously the big one, Kevin Durant, I touched on that one in my last vid. Phoenix Suns till we die over here, so we were directly involved in that. They actually just added 5 more teams to that trade for some cap fillers. So there were some other moves that kind of made after that trade. I didn't know you could go back and edit a trade after it's been finalized, but I guess the Suns and the Rockets and 5 other teams did that. But yeah, that happened. I mean, y'all know what's going on there. The Suns ended up getting Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Malawak, and some other dogs that out through the draft, and I think we came out okay with it. I mean, nobody wanted to see. I mean, I didn't want to see Kevin Durant leave Phoenix. Some corny Phoenix fans, and I call some of you guys corny because you are, felt like that was the case. And at the end of the day, if we were able to trade Bradley Beal, I think we would have kept Kevin Durant if we could. But we'll talk about Bradley Beal here in a little bit as well. But yeah, I mean, the more I'm looking at it, it's like, what are the Suns going to do? We got to run with point book. We want Chris Paul to come in. He just announced this will be his last season, but who knows? With the Suns, this first year, we're not going to compete for a title, and that's okay. I just want to see improvement. I just want to see some new energy around there. But really, trades have been a little quiet. We thought we were going to see Giannis on the move. We thought we would see guys like Rudy Gobert, some other guys on the move. LeBron's kind of put his 2 cents out there, saying he's evaluating the Lakers roster to see if he can contend for a championship, and he wouldn't be opposed to being traded. But it's like, LeBron, you just signed your $52 million extension. Why would you do that? Did you not just see what happened to Kevin Durant? You not see what happened to Kevin Durant? He's 37 years old. You're 41. Not a lot of teams are going to want to trade for you, give up draft picks, give up stars for a 41-year-old, and you're still great. I'm not saying LeBron's not great. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it is hard for a team or an organization to justify, sending out young talent, sending out a superstar, sending out picks, or whatever it is for a 41-year-old who we all know he's only going to play 1 or 2 more seasons. You saw LeBron golfing. So that's telling you the end is near. He had a stogie in the mouth, and he's hitting the driver. But yeah, I mean, that's something just to keep an eye on there. But I don't think LeBron's going to go anywhere. They just signed. I guess we can kind of get into it this way. They just got DeAndre Ayton. So DeAndre Ayton just got bought out by the Portland Trailblazers, and they're saying they didn't like his work ethic. They didn't like his approach, showing up to practices late, X, Y, and Z. Are you surprised? We had him. We drafted him number 1 overall over Luka, over Trae Young. Over a lot of other good players in this league today, we drafted him number 1. At the time, yes, I understand why we would draft him number 1. And he did great for the Suns during his time. But there were those points, especially at the end of his time in Phoenix, where you just saw DeAndre Ayton, he just wasn't locked in. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. He'd settle for the 15-footer. He wouldn't attack the rim. He wouldn't go get rebounds. He looked checked out for God knows why. Again, I've said this before. I wish I was a fly on the wall in some of the locker room discussions to know what was actually going on, but it seemed like him and Monty Williams were beefing. But then we trade him, and honestly, in retrospect, I wish we did, and I wish we could have figured it out. Hopefully, the attitude and things like that could have been changed, but he goes to Portland and it's the same thing. So then you're like, wait. Portland's saying this, maybe it was a good thing we got him out of our locker room. But he just signed with the Lakers. And if, you watched him in any capacity in Portland, like he would have good games. There'd be games you'd be like, wow, yeah, DeAndre Ayton's still a really good basketball player. Shoot, he's like, what, 25? Maybe younger? Maybe 26. But then there's games where you're just like, wow, what a dud. What a dud to throw up. And it was the same body language, the same mannerisms, all those kinds of things on the court where you're like, man, dude doesn't really, he's not a go-getter. Like, he picks and chooses, it seems like, when he wants to go get. So the Lakers fans, they're all happy DeAndre Ayton's a Laker. They're saying, oh, this is the guy. They're comparing him to Pau Gasol. Don't ever compare DeAndre Ayton to Pau Gasol. Especially if you're a Lakers fan. That's disrespectful. First off, I'm going to stand up for Pau, who torched my Suns back in the day. Ripped my heart out. Don't ever compare DeAndre Ayton's 2-3 years in the playoffs with the Suns to what Pau Gasol did in the playoffs for the Lakers. Don't ever do that. If you're a Lakers fan, don't ever do that ever again. You can do that when DeAndre Ayton comes and wins you a ring and plays like Pau Gasol. When he plays like Pau Gasol, right? The numbers may match in some capacity, right? 16 points, 8 boards, couple assists, whatever it is. But come on, man. Pau Gasol is a different kind of beast than DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton picks and chooses, and sometimes, unfortunately, it seems like he doesn't want to be there. I don't want to call him a quitter, but it just seems like he obviously is easily able to check out. So it's going to be interesting to see how he molds into that J.J. Redick system. Because I know J.J. Redick ain't going to stand for that. And honestly, if anyone can make that work with DeAndre Ayton, shoot, I think it could be J.J. Redick. But at the end of the day, we'll see, man. I mean, that's a good, on paper, that's a good pickup for the Lakers, a big man that they needed. But at the end of the day, it's also DeAndre Ayton, and he has a track record that, isn't something to really gloat about. He like when he was in Phoenix, man, especially that first playoff run when we made it to the finals, like, he was awesome. He was awesome. But there was a couple times even in that playoff run, you're like, come on, man, we need more. You're the number one pick. You're one of the centerpieces of the franchise, and you just didn't get it from him, dude. And then the year after that, it just, he'd kind of just disappear. And if his game if he's not really on, the body language follows. The body language follows. And that last year in Phoenix was just kind of a mess with him. And so we traded him off, and now the Lakers got him. But it says a lot, I think, about him in terms of like where his leadership now. He's that kind of guy in the league. He needs to be a leader. He needs to lead by example. It's just that wasn't there. And for a team like the Portland Trailblazers to buy him out and say, we're going to ride with Donovan Clingan and Robert Williams III, I think it says a lot, because DeAndre Ayton, a former number 1 pick, at this point of his career, I feel like should never be bought out. But it says a lot. But anyways, moving on, we got Miles Turner. He just signed with the Milwaukee Bucks, but at the cost of Dame Lillard. This was crazy. This is crazy. This is a crazy move by the Milwaukee Bucks. I didn't think Miles Turner would leave Indiana. First off, coming off a finals run, Game 7, you're leaving Indiana to go to the Bucks for a 4-year, $107 million deal. Good on you for that. I'm not bashing him for that. But it's how the Bucks were able to get him and sign him And that's by waiving Dame. And players are getting waived a lot right now. I don't understand it, but like they're going to stretch out Damian Lillard's contract and still pay him like 20 something, 30 something a year. You know, he's going to be on their books for a while now. At least 4 or 5 seasons he's going to be on their books. But I just find that crazy that Dame Lillard comes out, he was injured, comes back, tears his Achilles in the playoffs, and you're going to waive the guy? It's Damian Lillard, first off. Second off, again, we don't know the ins and outs, especially me. I'm a low-level podcaster or whatever you want to call this. I just don't see any kind of world you'd want to waive Damian Lillard, especially when you're trying to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo by any cost, and waiving a guy like Dame, future first ballot Hall of Famer. Would he be a first ballot? That could be discussed. Okay, I'll give you that. But to waive him, that's not good for the Bucks. So it makes me think: are the Bucks kind of just ready to let Giannis go? Because you look at their roster right now. Let's look at this: Milwaukee Bucks starting lineup projected. Let's see, what is their projected starting lineup for this upcoming year? It's not a lineup that I think Giannis would want to stick around with. It's going to be Kevin Porter Jr. He's a bucket, but he's had his issues in the past. Gary Trent Jr., a good little two-way player, you know what I mean? But then Kyle Kuzma, who has, we've watched Kyle Kuzma on the Lakers, and he won the ring and everything, and he was looked like he was getting better and better, but he had his flaws. They traded him. He didn't do much. He didn't do really anything in DC. They didn't even make the playoffs. And then you got Giannis and then Miles Turner. Brooke Lopez left. So this isn't a roster. The Bucks isn't a roster I look at and I'm like, yeah, that's going to keep Giannis around. Like, Giannis is getting close to 30. He's not quite 30 yet, but like he's at the point of his career. It's like he's not waiting around for a rebuild. He's won a ring already. He has 2 MVPs in the back pocket. He probably should have more, but just the same fatigue that we've had with Jokic, like, we're not going to give this guy 3 in a row, So that's not, the Bucks don't have a roster I see Giannis wanting to stay there with. And he's kind of put some cryptic stuff out there on the internet and on his Instagram. So that's something to just monitor going forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if they trade him off. To who? I don't know. The Warriors, I think, would have a really good package for him if the Bucks are going to do this reset. Kuminga. Who do they got? Kuminga, some first rounders, maybe. What's the little redhead? Little redhead. He's probably the same height and size as me, but Kuminga. I think Kuminga would be the centerpiece in that trade and some first, but I don't know where Giannis would end up going, man. But I don't think he's happy with the Bucks. If I was him, I wouldn't be happy. That's another one. It's just kind of weird, man. I don't really understand why you would waive Damian Lillard, especially after he tore his Achilles. Like, that's kind of fucked up. Bleep that out, Zach, when we get to that. That's kind of fucked up. But then, you're signing, it could be Miles Turner. And Miles Turner's a great player, but he's just kind of shooting threes and getting maybe 5 to 8 rebounds a game. He's not like a double-double machine. He can be periodically, but that's not the kind of guy you'd be like, oh, yeah, Giannis looks at Miles Turner like, yeah, we're going to get a ring together, especially when Kevin Porter and Gary Trent are your starting point guards. So that ain't going to happen, man. So it's weird. Then we got Porzingis. He gets traded. Then you got the Boston Celtics. They trade Porzingis out. They're letting Al Horford go. So there's a lot of shifts going. And the big thing and the big theme that you're seeing with teams like the Celtics, they're trying to save money and stay under that second apron and even stay under that first apron. As you watch with the Suns, dog, those aprons screw you over. Thanks a lot, CJ McCollum. Thanks a lot, Kevin Durant, for going to the Warriors. That's the whole reason that this is happening right now, is that teams were upset that Kevin Durant and the Warriors were able to pay so much to keep their Steph, Draymond, Clay, and KD. So I'd call this the Kevin Durant and Warriors rule. But Porzingis is out. He's down in Atlanta, and so this is my take on Atlanta. Like Atlanta on paper, you always look at like, oh wow, yeah, they got Trae Young, they got these guys. But Atlanta is so good at staying where they're at. They're so good at staying where they're at. They don't really make a move where you're like, wow. Like we're not looking at Kristaps and being like, wow, they're going to be a contender. Like, okay, you got a lob threat and the stretch five for Trae, but at the end of the day, can Kristaps for one stay healthy, and for two, like, come on, man, like the Hawks made that Eastern Conference Finals run like maybe four years when the Suns made the finals. They lost to the Bucks. That was about as close as they were going to get, and then they brought DeJounte Murray in, and you know that 2-point guard system didn't really work in my opinion. Like they were good for the East, but like it's just not. You know. The Hawks are so good at staying mid, right? They can sneak their way in the playoff. Not sneak their way. They're going to make the playoffs. You know, last couple of years it's been a play-in situation for them. But like, it's just like, come on, man, give Trae something. Give Trae a good wing score that's not another point guard. Like DeJounte Murray's a dog. I'm not saying that. Like DeJounte Murray's a dog, but that didn't fit. But like, imagine if Bradley Beal, if they sent us something, like give us something for Bradley Beal, dog. We'll give you Bradley Beal, Trae, and Kristaps. Like that's a little better situation. But I mean, they got Dyson Daniels and they got some other dudes out there. I think Luke Kennard just signed to the Hawks too. So I mean, okay, you're gonna let Bogdanovich dip, but you're gonna bring Luke Kennard who does the same thing. It's like the same kind of player. Like you can't say Luke Kennard's better than Bogdanovich. So I mean, they're here. They've been here for like the last 5 years since they made the Eastern Conference Finals. They haven't done anything to elevate their roster. And if Kristaps is healthy, you know, who knows? It could elevate him, but at the same time, like Kristaps is never healthy, and I hope he is. I don't like it when players aren't healthy because you know a guy's had a couple surgeries himself. It's not fun. Like being an injured player it's never a fun thing. But you know it is what it is. You know. Then we got. You got Tyus Jones left the Suns. He's going to Orlando Magic. Cole Anthony, he was part of that Desmond Bane deal, which is a crazy deal. You know, Desmond Bane for all those firsts. I think the Magic like, hey, we got a young core. We got first to give up. So I think I like Desmond Bane with the Magic. I think the Magic are they keep an eye on the Magic, dude. That's all I got to say. They got a vet in there, Desmond Bane, who's made a couple deep playoff runs. 3-and-D, you know, he can facilitate as well. He can make things easier for Franz and Paolo. So keep an eye on the Magic, dude. But you know, then we got Shea. He signed his 4-year supermax. Jaren Jackson got his extension. Van Vliet, Steven Adams, Jabari Smith, all going back to the Rockets. Jordan Clarkson. Damn, I didn't realize this. Jordan Clarkson is now a New York Knick. That's not a bad little shooter and score off the bench for the Knicks, but does he really move the needle? Not so much. And then, of course, DeAndre Ayton, 2 years, $16.6 million going to the Lakers. So have fun with that, LA. Then this is my prediction for DeAndre Ayton on the Lakers. DeAndre Ayton's going to start to see. He's going to be motivated. He's going to have his juice. It's going to be good. Lakers are going to probably start off hot. Luke is losing some weight, getting in better shape. You know, LeBron's LeBron. Like, you got Austin Reeves. Like, the Lakers got a good roster there, man. But just wait for DeAndre Ayton. He'll start the season good. You'll be feeling good about him. Then there's going to be times when you need him, and he's just going to kind of disappear, especially if things aren't going to go his way, and he's going to be a little crybaby about it like he was in Phoenix. So, but I hope it works out for him. At the end of the day, I do. But that's just from my observation from afar. Oh, and another trade that I forgot about is Drew Holiday got sent back to Portland for Anthony Simons. And so, again, it's just the Celtics making moves here, right? Anthony Simons is a great pickup. I like Anthony Simons as a guard, point guard, score, probably more of a scoring threat, younger than Drew Holiday, and somebody who can help Jaylen Brown out like offensively, along with, you know, their other guys they kind of have fit around them, like Derek White and dudes like that. Like, they're going to be all right this year. They're not. I don't know. I can't say they're going to contend, but they're going to still be solid. And then Drew Holiday to Portland. But I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Holiday gets bought out or if they flip him, because I don't see a guy like Drew Holiday wanting to stay with the Blazers long term. Maybe he starts the season out with them and they trade him at the deadline. It's probably what's going to happen. But I think Drew Holiday's a guy like the Phoenix Suns need to look at and be like, hey, man, like, need a point guard. We have a bunch of shooting guards. I mean, it's all about Brad Beal. And so I guess let's just move on to this Brad Beal thing, man. Like, look, people are saying let's pay Brad Beal out. We're going to stretch his contract out, pay him out over the next couple of years, yada, yada, yada. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're still, no matter what, going to have to play Bradley Beal at a discount. We're still going to have him on our books, but it will open up some cap space for us and some money to throw at some other players to come in, give extensions, whatever it may be. But at the same time, it's like, hey, this next year, we know we're not going to contend. We know that. Like, we'll be competitive. I think the Suns will still make the playoffs. I'm not saying we're going to be the first, second, third seed, fourth seed. I can see us in that 5 through 10 range, making a play-in game or sneaking in where we avoid the play-in. Because I think Devin Booker's still that guy. Jalen Green is going to be a good fit with Devin Booker. And, Devin Booker's just he's going to be the guy now. And if Brad Beal's not there, that gives those other guys opportunities. We got defense. We got younger. We got defense. But, like, hey, what if we just ride it out with Bradley Beal this year? It's another good mentor for Jalen Green. Maybe it works out with Kevin Durant not there. Bradley Beal can then technically be the second option. Jalen Green would be the third option, or those two can interchange. Devin Booker's now the for sure one option. Devin Booker's the for sure one option, which wasn't there with Kevin Durant. They kind of passed it back and forth, and then it's like, okay, how do we get Brad Beal in there? But, like, we got Devin Booker, Brad Beal, Jalen Green, those are our three primary wing scorers. Same situation we were in with Kevin Durant, but now Devin Booker's the number one option, and Jalen Green and Brad Beal, okay, you two are the second option, third option, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just another good vet who's averaged 30 that Jalen Green can learn and gain some experience with. And so, like, why not? Why buy him out and keep him on our books and pay him for an extra couple of years than we originally should at a discount, right? Or do we just write it out and see how it works? Because here's what's going to happen. We'll buy him out, but then he's going to go to another team that we may have to play in the Western Conference. And it's going to be a better situation for him. So he'll be able to beat Bradley Beal. Then we're going to be like, damn, we just let him go for pennies, right? We let him go for nothing, right? I think we keep him around. If the trade pops up, that's right. We make that trade. Or we just ride it out with him, dude. Like, we're not winning a ring this year. And that's the reality of it. We're not going to win a ring with the roster we currently have. We don't have a true point guard. And I've said this over and over again. Yes, Devin Booker can be the point guard. Exactly. What up, Jake? What up, my brother from down under? Good to see you, Jake. Miss you, bro. Hope you're doing well. But yes, Brad Beal now gets to kind of bump his way up in the roster, right? Not in the roster, but in that option discussion of, like, okay, I am not just sitting in the corner and have to be the guaranteed third option. He can be the guaranteed second option and kind of share that with Jalen Green. And granted, he needs to stay healthy, but at the same time, right, what if Bradley Beal feels a little more free and he's able to do some things that he wasn't really feeling like he could do with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, kind of like having to share that number one option feel. So that's my thought on it. Don't buy him out. Let's ride it out. We already know we're not contending. Let's let him, let's say Brad Beal starts out hot. Let's let him get his value back. Bradley Beal's still a very, very good player in the NBA. It's just he wasn't put in a situation to succeed, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Vogel, maybe he wasn't the problem. Right, but Budenholzer for sure didn't put him in positions to succeed. And so now with Kevin Durant back, Devin Booker, again, I'm going to say it over and over again, he's for sure the number one. But then who would be the next one? It'd be Bradley Beal and Jalen Green. So it's not two bad wingmates. They all do the same thing, which sucks, but we we got our bigs. We got Mark Williams. We got Malawak. We got Ryan Dunn, right? Seems like we're bringing Nick Richards back. We got some guys that we can kind of ship off too, but it's like, hey, let's ride with this 3-wing score front line. Then you got, but then it's like, who comes off the bench, right? Jalen Green coming off the bench, hard for me to see. Dylan Brooks come off the bench. Why would he come off the bench? He'd be our primary wing defender. Brad Beal off the bench. Who knows? But the Suns got a new coach coming in, and so let's see what he does with it. But I'm like, hey, let's not buy Brad Beal out and let him go somewhere and not get any value back with him. He might be a little more expendable at the end of next year because he's going to be looked at as an expiring contract. Teams might be more willing to take that on. They don't have to pay him as long, right? And things shift as the season goes on and the season starts. Unfortunately, dudes get hurt. Dudes get put in positions to where, or teams get put in positions where they're looking for a guy like Brad Beal, and he's gaining value while playing a little more free, getting more buckets, getting more looks, able to do his thing a little bit more. Then we have ourselves a better situation than we're in now. So I think we stay patient on it. That's just my take. But yeah, man. Like I said, Shams said that this was going to be a crazy, off season. It's been okay, but I just haven't seen it yet. Where's Giannis going to go? Is Giannis going to stick around? Like, the Texas teams are obviously getting better and better. The Spurs, the Rockets, and the Mavs. Those teams look like juggernauts. And so the West is obviously getting better. But, like, where is Giannis going to go? And it's like, what are the Warriors going to do, man? Like, I feel like Giannis would be a great fit with Steph. Like, that would be scary. Giannis and Steph on the same team is disgusting. Then you got guys like Draymond and those other cats around him. Let Kuminga go somewhere else and just do his thing. They obviously don't value him as high, or don't put him in a position to succeed like he could if he went to a rebuilding team where he can just go hoop and huck up as many shots as he wants. Not saying like going to change and turn around the Bucks, but it'd be a better situation for him. More run, all that stuff. I'd like to see Giannis, and I'd like to see, and the Warriors, not a big Warriors guy either, obviously, but I'd like to see them kind of put something around Steph so Steph can kind of get his final run here, man, because, we got to respect our legends, and I just hate seeing him in that plan. I want to see the Warriors in a position to where they can, contend and have Steph be put in a position to contend. And so, I don't know. I'd keep eyes on Giannis. I'd keep eyes on some other things. I don't think anybody's safe in today's NBA, but obviously with these guys getting waived, at like Dame, I still think that's insane. But man, it is what it is. It is what it is. So we'll see where Giannis goes. We'll see what else happens. I know we still got some time here. But before we know it, here in 2 months, man, the NBA season will be in preseason, man. September preseason will be starting, mini camps will be starting, dudes will have to start to report, and then we're right back at it. So it's going to happen quick, but I don't think things are done, but I think it's been a little underwhelming, very much so. But yeah, I guess that's all I really have for this one, y'all. I appreciate you for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Let me know what we do. I got some eyes on some guests that might be coming in here. Just need things to fall through. But yeah, I think there's some things brewing. But again, we're not seeing the fireworks that we were necessarily promised. So stay tuned on it. DeAndre Ayton, best of luck to you in LA. LA fans, have fun. Have fun with that. I hope it works. I don't hope it works out. I don't want the Lakers to win a ring. But I just hope, for the sake of DeAndre Ayton, he takes that step and he gives you something that he didn't give his last two franchises. But at the same time, I won't be surprised if it's a shit show. Bleep that out too, Zach. Love you guys. If you're this far, please like and subscribe. Please share the vid. Please talk about it. Comment in here. Let me know what y'all think. But y'all have a good night. Have a good day. Peace.